And hello and welcome to episode 100 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this show is being brought to you through the generous support of our Patreon supporters. If you want to help support the show, you can do so by going to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from $1 per month upwards. Your support is greatly appreciated and helps us with our production and hosting costs. The Scale Modeler Supply. Certified Australian made, Scale Model supplies a detailed range of premium acrylic paints that have been specifically developed to cater to the scale modeler. Designed to be used straight from the bottle, SMS paints have taken all the guesswork out of airbrushing. Simply shake the durable glass bottle and pour and spray for a fast drying and extremely durable result. The ever-growing range of SMS paints will suit all types of model builders, be it military, train, car, science fiction or Gunpla. SMS premium acrylic lacquer paints will have a colour to suit you. The Scale Modeler is also your one-stop shop for all your weathering, brushes, masking, tools and accessory needs. SMS paint tools and accessories are available either directly from their website, www.scalemodeler.com.au, or through stockists across Australia, New Zealand, Singapore and the US. And as a special bonus exclusive to our On The Bench listeners, you will get 10% off by using the promo code OTB when ordering direct from www.scalemodeler.com.au. So go now. Go to scalemodeler.com.au. We know you won't be disappointed. And hello and welcome to the show. And in the studio, I have Ian.
G'day, Dave. G'day, listeners.
And of course, Julian.
Good morning.
Happy 100th episode.
Woohoo! Woo! Yay! We made it to 100.
Wow, I'll tell you what, it's been a long time coming. We're at 3.5 years.
Yeah, I was going to say 3.5 years.
Yeah. So our fourth birthday comes up in, I think, June or May, something like that next year. Yeah. But man, wow.
It's been a great trip. It's been an enjoyable trip.
It's been hilarious. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, learnt a lot.
Spoken with a lot of interesting people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Yeah.
I beat you to it.
Yeah, I guess you did.
You did, yes. It's been great. But we wouldn't be anywhere without our listeners.
Oh, absolutely. And, support we've had from our listener base is, what makes it so much fun doing the show.
Exactly, yeah.
And
we're all one big community.
And in fact, we've got some mail to listen to later on that, some of the people have written in and said thanks and everything. So
excellent. Good to hear.
Really good to hear.
Yeah, definitely.
Before we do that, let's stick with the normal... Well, no, what I'll do is I'll explain to everybody how we're going to celebrate the 100th episode. This is just going to be a general chat amongst ourselves about how wonderful we are. But more importantly...
Sounds boring.
Yeah, exactly.
But more importantly, for the listeners, throughout January, we're going to be dropping a special episode each week for the entire month of January.
Yep.
We're having chats with the guys from Plastic Model Mojo, Scale Model Podcast, the Plastic Posse Podcast,
yep.
And also Lincoln Wright is going to drop in for a
quick chat,
a quick chat as well. So that's our way of saying thank you to everybody out there who's been such a great support to us through all these years. And you're going to get an episode each month throughout January. And while that's happening, we're actually going to take a little bit of a break, which is the first time we've actually had a break, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
We've never really taken time off from this, so...
It's going to be strange. It's going to be weird not getting up early on a Saturday morning. And
Julian's very happy about that.
Yeah, he gets to sleep in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unlike us early risers, who still wake up at... Well, this morning I was still awake at about 5:30. I was up at about...
I was up at 7 this morning for some reason. I don't know what the heck.
Maybe asleep in
Oh,
no. It's probably body clocks now set at about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. It's crazy.
Oh. So, gents, what have you been doing?
I managed to get all the drawing done on one wing.
Oh, you're still building the.
Still, it's gonna be. I'll be surprised if I get that done in a year.
I had to laugh because you posted some of the work you've done on our Facebook page, and people are saying, "Hurry up and do some more because that'll trigger a model company to bring one out."
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. And doing more research, I've then realised that all these Rosie the Riveter tools I've been buying for this project are not going to be used.
Oh, why?
Because I've had a good look, and I'd say that 99% of the rivets on a Martin Marauder are domed rivets.
Oh, seriously?
So I'm going to be spending a lot of money on Archer dome rivets. A fortune on that. Just to do the whole aircraft in little dome rivets is going to take a fair bit of cash, I reckon.
I've never done the Archer Dome rivets.
Me neither.
Oh, okay.
Me neither. It's going to be a whole new learning experience.
I still haven't seen you build a 48 scale aircraft or anything.
Well, no, I haven't actually.
I would like to see that happen.
Yeah,
Would you now?
actually, yeah.
Oh.
There you go. We put the challenge down, Dave.
Oh, well. I've got lots of other projects all lined up at the moment. I went and bought myself a Renault tank.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah.
A T17? Is it called?
FT17.
FT17.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julian.
That'd be tiny 1/35 scale.
Oh, no, it's not actually. It's about 5 inches long, so it's not too bad at all.
Still small for a tank.
Well, yeah, but
You have to remember that the hull of it is pretty small. I mean, because it's like a one-man or two-man tank or something. Yeah.
two-man
Driver and
tank.
gunner.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of tracks in there.
Mm.
You know, like the amount of space, like the amount of space the tracks take up is relatively large compared to the size of the vehicle.
Yes.
Individual link.
Well, actually, I saw recently on excuse me, on YouTube. I saw recently a guy, a Japanese fellow. He builds the large metal tanks, the big ones.
Oh yeah.
And he's just recently done it. Recently, they're bringing out an FT17 in
Now,
that series.
Is it
all metal.
1/6 scale?
I think so. Could
Or
be
1/4?
Or, I think it's 1/9.
Yeah.
It's really big in any
big,
case.
yeah. And even the FT17 is quite big and heavy.
And super expensive,
And
too.
but as this guy says, this is the first time he's been able to physically pick up one of his tank models. Because when he does the Tigers and the Panthers, it just weighs so much and needs 2 or 3 people just to pick it up. Because they're all made of metal.
Yeah.
Just imagine the cost of those things. Those things would not be cheap.
No. Do they come assembled, or you got to build them yourself?
I think you got to build them yourself, I think.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Build them and paint them. You'd have a lot of fun painting that thing.
Well, you'd have to almost move into real sort of, like car spraying sort of thing. And,
Oh, yeah, you watch this guy. He doesn't use airbrush. He hardly ever uses airbrush.
But he uses like Tamiya paint and stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It costs him a fortune.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that'd
For
be like
that sort of project, you go to your local hardware store and just get some acrylic paint made up in the right shades.
that'd be like trying to paint a car and then you're filling up your paint gun with I don't know, like mugs worth of paint.
Yeah,
And
take a
trying
lot.
to cover the whole thing.
40 pots of paint later.
Jeez.
Julian, what have you been building?
Nothing at the moment because
Oh, what?
I was almost to the point where I was gonna paint the Calibri,
Yep.
but then I went to visit a friend and I thought, I'll bring that thing with me, and I left it at his house.
Deliberately?
No, not deliberately. I'll see him sooner or later, and I'll get it off him, along with my one of my car kits that I took.
Unless he's already built them for you.
No, I wouldn't want him to. He doesn't do things to the way I would like to do them, and he's not finishing anything because he doesn't have all the parts anyway.
True.
Yeah.
What about the Mushara Cup?
That's the Calibri.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still got the blades to assemble.
Yeah.
And also various other panels and bits and pieces. But yeah, I'm not gonna bother unless I got the whole thing. So I'll just sort of. I've already got like a big head start. I think.
Oh, yeah,
at least in my mind,
yeah.
like on that project. So. Now I can afford to leave it at someone's house for a while. In any case, at the moment, I'm obsessed with a certain video game.
Oh, what video game are you obsessed with?
Cyberpunk 2077.
I said you won't just come out.
Yeah. So if you recall, I bought a bust figure bust. You know,
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah,
that was from that developer's former game.
Right.
So there's
which was that Witcher, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's the Witcher series. Yeah, and I was a big fan of that game, and I knew this game was going to be good. But there's been some controversy about bugs and things like that in the game, and people are reporting things like that. But I've been playing it, and I haven't had too many bugs, and I've been enjoying playing it immensely.
Is it a first-person shooter or?
Sort of. It looks like a first-person shooter. It's a bit more involved than that, but it's sort of like it's an RPG where you talk to characters and go and do things and this and that.
Boring. No, unless you can't shoot it.
There's definitely shooting in it, but
well, that's all right then.
Yeah, and because like it's all sort of it's the cyberpunk genre, which is kind of like
which was cool when it came out in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, it's quite like along those lines. So it draws on all the sort of inspirations.
Dudes with mohawks and lots of
all
metal
that sort
tech
of
thrown through their bodies.
Yeah, there's lots of like hacking and robot arms and stuff like that. You can add cyborg parts to your body and
cool.
Yeah. So like for example, movies like Blade Runner is very cyberpunk.
Yes.
Hang on, would you say Blade Runner cyberpunk? Would you?
Yeah, for sure.
Really, both of you?
Especially any kind of sort of science fiction setting that has involves, sort of being on Earth but not in space, and having like robots and androids and things like that,
and wet tech.
Yeah, all that sort of thing.
I'd call it more dystopian.
Oh, definitely like dystopia, sort of like
is cyberpunk.
Sort of, very much part of it. Like the sort of it usually involves like corporations and and like gangs on the streets.
Yeah, the underbelly of everything.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. You learned
so
something
I'm hoping that someone will bring out a model for this thing too.
Ah,
he does a pretty like there's a for at least the artwork, sort of like the presentable side. Like you can drive all kinds of cars in the game.
Yeah.
But there's a particular car that's sort of associated with the game as far as like the promotional material goes. And I would like to get a model of that car because it's a cool car. But I'm not expecting like the same kind of service, like because like the company that makes this game, CD Projekt Red from Poland, they came out with the bust. They obviously got someone to make it for them, but I doubt they'll be able to get like a injection molded or resin model kit of this car. So I'm just sort of hoping that someone will design it up or something on CAD, and then I'll buy a 3D printer and print that thing.
The way things are going these days in modelling, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, scratch build it yourself.
Oh, it'd be hard. It's sort of like this car. It's I don't know, somewhere along the lines of like a Di Tommaso Pantera or something like that. It's sort of in that vein, a bit more like Corvette-ish maybe.
Right. Yep. So basically like a European $2 sports car.
No, not so much European. Just like how like that sort of era, like the super wide tires and very wide and flat kind of look,
like a wedge.
But lots of sort of 80s Q sort of look to it. With lots of like I don't know, futuristic looking lights and things.
So nothing like a Leyland P76.
Oh, what a terrible car that was.
Hey, there's still clubs here in Australia that dedicate themselves to the Leyland P76.
Yeah, I know. It's almost.
I actually know what you're talking about for a change.
It's a classic car now.
Yeah, it's a horrible wedge with really crappy wiring.
It wasn't just the wiring that was crappy on it.
The whole thing was crappy.
Yeah.
So wasn't the deal with it like the reason why it's got like a very large rear end on that thing? Isn't it because it's like designed to be able to have like a 44-gallon drum?
Well, every time I see the rear of the Leyland P76, the Queen song "Fat Bottom Girls" always comes to mind.
Yep.
Yes. It is just a ugly car.
It is, yes. So getting back to modelling, Dave, what have you been working on?
Still building my Take-On V2 rocket launcher.
Oh, yeah. How's that come on?
Yeah, it's coming on slowly, but getting there. Mm-hmm. It's interesting because
Did you end up finding your missing piece?
No.
Oh.
no.
And you don't want to build the little truck that pulls it, right?
The Hanamag.
Yeah.
No, I'm giving it away to a mate because I'm just not interested in building the truck to go with it. I just want the actual launcher platform. But it's interesting because this is a take-on model, and the flash on it and the seam lines drive me nuts.
Really?
Yeah.
Geez, you don't expect that from
And
a
I compare
modern
it to the Revel V2 in 1/72nd scale that I bought, and that's a sweet little kit. And I thought,
if that's a new Revell boxing, they usually are. The new Revell stuff's not too bad.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's the first Revell kit that I've ever built that I've really enjoyed and fallen in love with. And the take-on one, it just sends me, it drives me nuts.
Isn't that weird?
I know.
Over-engineered.
I know. It's not it's not over-engineered. It's just got an unacceptable amount of flash on it, and the part lines are extremely pronounced.
Manufacturer's laziness.
Well, yeah.
Do you think that maybe they sort of have not taken it too seriously because it's 72nd scale?
Maybe.
No, I don't know. I think it's to do with the manufacturing process. And look, this is the thing with model kits. If you're pumping out 8,000 parts or 8,000 trees.
Yeah, but your issue is not just with the flash. I mean, flash is a manufacturing thing, right?
Yeah.
Not a design thing. But what about the way the kit goes together?
Oh, look, that's all right. I've got no issues with that.
It's just you're just pissy about the cleanup.
Yeah. And and this is, we're so spoilt now. I mean, once upon a time you'd accept flash and all the roughing, and that was. I
remember the days you used to pull the sprue out and you'd have to hunt for the parts in amongst the flashing. Well, the flashing would go the whole way across the whole sprue.
Exactly. But nowadays you sort of really it's when you come across some flash you go, oh my God, what's this piece of junk that I've got?
Yeah.
And once upon a time it was just accepted norm.
To me, the flash basically means that the molds aren't lining up well enough.
Yeah.
Which means there's either a problem with the molds or they haven't freaking cleaned them.
Yeah, exactly.
You might find they've got maybe a tiny bit of grit stuck on one surface, and when they put clamp the two parts together, it's going to leave like a hair width gap, and of course, plastic's going to leak through that.
And with the manufacturing process these days, so long as you've got the hopper continually being filled up in the injection moulder,
it's just going to keep punching out.
Just keep punching out, so you just walk away. So. Yeah. You just push the button and it'll just keep, as long as it's plastic feeding it, it'll keep punching it out. Yeah. And if there's an issue with it...
It's just going to keep going.
It's going to keep going, yeah.
Because it doesn't think for itself.
Yeah. And I'm tipping that they haven't got the, they're not paying sort of brain surgeons to be on the end of the line to sort of check each part as it comes out.
Most people who'd be working in those companies wouldn't even know what they're doing.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're just
well, they don't even...
doing the job.
There's a good chance that they don't even know that they're making model kits.
Yeah. It's just drones just pumping out.
They're just working in a plastics factory.
But I have built other take-on kits, other tanks, and they've been fantastic. And, no issues whatsoever. So maybe it's a bum kit.
I want to touch on what you were talking about before with regards to we're so spoilt.
Yes.
But at the same time, you sort of still have to say, well, we don't live 20 years ago. We live now.
Yeah.
And now we've got higher standards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? So the question is, how much is having too high a standards and how much should we expect?
I have an expectation that all modelling companies should be at the same level as, say, Tamiya or Bandai. Or the old Wingnut Wings.
As much as I would
That's
that.
Big ask.
That's my expectation.
That's a big ask.
I know.
Because it's like asking Mitsubishi to be like Rolls-Royce.
Well, no,
I agree with that. I agree with that statement.
It comes down to basically the mindset of the company.
Remember, you're not talking about where the upper edge should be defined.
Now, Wingnut Wings, they had the edge because they had guys that were... The whole company was dedicated to World War I aviation and good quality, and they were all modelers. So, of course, you're going to get the best of the best out of it.
Yep.
Whereas if you go like to someone like, as you guys were saying, Take-On, you got corporation and you got workers. And these guys, 90% of these guys wouldn't even know a model kit if they looked at it.
Yeah. I mean,
so thus, it's going to go all the way down the line and you're not going to get the same quality and manufacturing.
Yeah. Well, you sort of got to define where where's the middle ground? What's acceptable and what isn't in this day and age, right? So I would say, I don't think it's. It's.
I would say probably something like Hasegawa,
Well,
but with decent decals.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like, even there are lots of companies that make bad decals.
Edward, why do you make such shitty decals?
In any case, so I don't think it's too much of an ask to say, can we have kits that don't have flash? Right?
I don't think it's too much of an ask.
Yeah, because I think that's a manufacturing mistake. Right?
Yeah.
That's the failure to do the bare minimum in a way.
I agree 100%.
That and also mold misalignment. That's one of my biggest bugbears is when you get a brand new kit and you look at and you can see see there's a step because the molds haven't lined up properly.
The worst is when you're building some old kit and you get to the undercarriage legs and they're misaligned, and so it's like you end up having to sand this thing into like an oval shape
just to make it look half decent. Yeah, usually that's the case where I just cut and just replace it with rod.
Really?
Yeah, definitely because sometimes it's just not even worth bothering with it.
Yeah. So like getting back to what I was saying, so I think it's not much. You're not asking for too much to say, okay, can we please have kits that don't have flash? But on the other hand, I'm not expecting like crazy amounts of like engineering finesse and detail and all that sort of thing from like if they don't have like creative engineering, I'm not going to hold it against them. But I think that the industry has sort of standardized on the what do you call it, recessed panel lines that are reasonable width, etc.
Well, that's what I'm finding with Marauder. This Marauder, like, fair enough, it's old tooling. It is really old tooling. 78 when these molds were made.
1978.
Yep, 1978 when these molds were made. Now, I don't think there's any flash at all on this kit. It's an ancient old kit. There's no mold misalignment. There are some issues with fit, especially around the engine nacelles and where the nacelles meet up with the wings. Yeah, there's major fit issues there. But then again, that's throughout the whole board of these Marauders. Apparently they've all got that problem. But besides that, like even back then, they had some good quality. Whereas you go out and you buy some of these other kits, and as I said before, you open the box and you're struggling to find the parts in amongst the flash. And this is stuff that's been made 20 years after this. No, they got to step up their game.
Yeah, that's the thing,
if
right?
they want my money, step up your game.
Yeah. Well, they already had your money a long time ago. For that one.
I'm a sucker when it comes to kids.
You just got to have to deal with that one.
Yes. Damn you, Edward, for releasing another Mustang.
But you know what I've noticed? The standard has come up quite a lot when it comes to a lot of resin stuff these days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like you don't see
I
the
remember
old
the old when we first started using it, and you had that really, I don't know, ammonia smell with your resin.
Yeah.
Like a cat peed in the box.
Yeah.
That was the old resin. That was that milky yellow colour, and it was full of air bubbles and
yeah,
horrible stuff.
Yeah, it's been
Nowadays,
it's been a long time since I saw.
Yeah, and I remember years ago someone decided to use dental resin. And all of a sudden, people start realizing, oh, hang on, the finish on this dental resin is magnificent. Oh, let's try that. And then people started researching to different resins to use. And then now, as Julia said, the resin quality you get nowadays is second to none compared to like 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago when it was you had to do twice as much work to get it to look half decent.
Yeah, well, all the resin, the people who make the resin stuff these days tend to be sort of, smaller companies.
Yeah.
They can't afford...
Garage companies.
Yeah, they can't afford to make those sort of, the same mistakes that you see in plastic.
Oh, no, because they do that and people stop buying and they have to look for real work.
Okay, we'll put it that way, okay. But I mean, like, they're also, selling to like a subset, like a small subset of the modelling community. So they can't really afford to piss off their customers either.
No, not at all.
And there also tend to be more enthusiasts,
Yep.
So they want to get things right.
And now we got Shapeways, which is for modelers is just a brilliant thing.
And Thingiverse now.
Well,
so if you got your own printer, you just go in the Thingiverse, and that's all the models or all the I don't want to say models, all the plans that are there or under
CAD,
common license.
Yeah, all the CAD illustrations.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so forth.
And so anybody can use it, but you can't use it to make money from.
No.
So anybody can just dive in there and go, oh, yeah, there's a widget that I need to print, and off you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, very perfect.
Yeah, actually, I would say that things are kind of moving away from shapeways because they're getting super expensive.
Shapeways is.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I haven't bought from Shapeways. I think the last time I bought from Shapeways when I was doing my USS England.
It's almost cheaper to get your own. Like if you're doing that sort of thing off and get your own 3D printer.
Yeah, I've been thinking of that too. Getting a 3D printer.
A resin one, the one that it's in the bath and it raises up.
I wouldn't. If I do get one, I'm not going to get one of those cheap ones. I'll get a decent one.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, cool.
But
How much are they going for now?
Oh, it'd be a couple of grand at least.
No,
I reckon.
no. They're sub 1,000. They're sub 600.
Yeah, they're like in the sort of $300 range.
Oh,
What for a really good one?
Oh.
One that won't leave the lines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like there's the sort of any cubic photon type.
That's the
level
one I'm thinking of. Yeah.
stuff, and then there's now they're starting to come out with the 4K ones that are better.
4K. Oh, see, that's where an old muppet like me's got no idea when
Like,
you start
well,
talking
okay,
4K.
so
and things like that. It's like, what do you mean?
So do you know
4K?
how these types of printers work?
Well, as far as I know, they just layer the resin and there's some chemical in there maybe that sets it.
So basically, it's like a bath of UV activated resin,
Yep.
right? And then you've got like this plate that comes down.
Oh, and it's got like a little light in there and that.
It's not a light. It's an LCD screen.
Ah.
And so basically, essentially, if you can imagine the layers
Yep.
as just an image, like a cutaway, and each of the images
Yeah,
sort
like
of
like a CAT scan.
Yeah. So slices, and like it'll just sort of do that, and then it'll goes, okay, cool, it's done that, and then it lifts up, then it comes back down again, and it just repeats, and then as it goes along, it slowly builds it up.
Oh yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So obviously the limitation is on two axes, it's fairly detailed, but on one axis, the actual up and down axis, it's got lines.
Yeah, and which I don't like the lines.
Yeah, but the 4K ones, the lines are so small that you can't really see them.
Yeah, because I've got some resin 3D printed stuff that you can't tell it's resin 3D printed, and then I've had other stuff that you can physically see and you can feel it, and when you touch it, you can feel the bumps.
Yeah, yuck. No.
And that to me is just like you're just going to spend just as much time filling and sanding as you will doing the rest of the kit.
Yeah, I mean, like we're at a point now where it's quite accessible for modelers to buy a 3D printer.
I remember the last expo we went to, and I was raving about that flying boat, that massive Saunders Road Princess.
That thing's way too big to print on these particular printers.
Yeah, and that looked amazing. But then when I had a really good look at it, the amount of cleanup and puttying and sanding to get that fuselage and wings to look half decent.
Yeah.
It's just not worth it.
No, it's not.
In my opinion. You'd be better off just to make a subframe and just scratch it with sheet styrene.
Yeah, because the people who make those sort of molds, they expect you to hose the thing down with like filler type stuff. Filler primer. And then sand it all down.
I don't want to do that. I've got enough trouble just doing me freaking Marauder.
But see, I was talking about like the car from that game. I reckon that's a reasonable size that you could probably print it in like a few sections and then glue it all together, kind of a thing.
That's cool. So this other mob you guys were talking about that does all the resin 3D stuff, was it that one?
Who? What?
The other mob you were just talking about that do the resin.
Oh, that's sort of like an online library of
Thingiverse. So that's when you go and buy.
Do they do a modern Godzilla?
I don't know. I've never looked. There probably is one sitting there.
You have to. This is basically like randoms on the internet.
Because I want to get.
I'll design things up and just throw it on there.
Because I really want to get a modern Godzilla.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, I reckon, Dave, we'll hit some listener mail.
Yeah, let's hit some listener mail. 1 second. Let's have a quick word from one of our sponsors and we'll be right back. Fine Scale Modeler is the world's most recognised and essential magazine for modelers and is available in all good newsagents and newsstands or wherever you purchase your magazines. Alternatively, go to their website www.finescale.com and subscribe to either a print edition or they're a digital edition. Go now. Go to www.finescale.com. Okay, so let's have a look at what listener mail brings to us for this episode. And first of all, we have one from Artie. And Artie writes, "Good day, Dave and team. I've now completed listening to all episodes of the Big Five Global Scale Modelling podcasts." The shows are my weekend treat. Episode 99 that you guys did was excellent, and getting such a big name as Al Murray in the show is a real feather in the cap. He certainly is a knowledgeable guy and a real enthusiast for the hobby. I've got to say, it's one of my favourite shows that we've done so far.
I reckon he's a great guy to interview.
Oh,
he
yes.
was,
yeah.
He was so good, yeah.
Yeah. As a returning modeller, I have learnt so much. Like Al, I do not yet have an airbrush and would like to hear you talk about brush painting models. I think we've spoken about brush painting models in the past.
Yeah, one of the episodes was on using the hairy stick.
We can come back and talk about it again. That's not a bad idea. Also, what I have learnt, scale modelling should be fun. If Ian thought the film Iron Sky was bad, he should see Nazis at the Centre of the Earth for a truly awful film.
Well, isn't that the same as Iron Sky too?
I think it is. And the Scale Model podcast with Stuart is produced by Cats. Keep up the good work. Best wishes from Marty in Surrey, England.
Thanks Marty.
That's very good.
Very good, yes.
And we got a email from John up in Queensland, and John writes, just a quick note to say that episode 99 was an absolute cracker. I think I was smiling through your entire interview with Al Murray. His passion for the hobby was self-evident, and looking forward to enjoying episode 100. And thanks for making us, your listeners, feel like we're all in the corner of a pub somewhere.
That's good.
I would love to sit down with Al Murray and just talk tanks and things.
Well, look, when he tours down here next time, I reckon we should snaffle him for a day and have a drink with him and take him up to Puckapunyal.
Well, just not Puckapunyal. There's a few other museums we can sort of take him round to have a look at as well.
Oh, screw the museums.
Just so you reckon to stay in a pub.
Yeah.
Just put the microphone recording on.
You know what will end up happening? You'll sort of be like, we'll go up there, we'll look at some tanks, and then we'll spend... It's the kind of situation where we end up standing around in the car park until it gets dark out, just yak.
No,
and then afterwards, like, we should have done this at the pub instead of here.
No, we can go to one of the boozers there.
Yeah.
On the...
There's plenty of boozers there.
Yeah, there is.
Come on, it's an army barracks. Of course there's going to be a boozer there.
Roger Foster writes in, gents, while digging through your archive and listening to
that's
the
a
one
dangerous
about...
thing.
Yeah, it is. About decaling. It occurred to me that an episode about kit bashing scratch building might be of interest. Fun show as always. Looking forward to the next one. That's from Roger. And actually, Roger, I have got plans to get a scratch builder on. A guy who does the most amazing little things with shop fronts and stuff like that he builds. And we've spoken about him before. I'm not going to drop the name just yet.
You're kidding. You've snaffled an interview with one of my favourite modellers.
Kind of. I actually haven't rung him yet, but I'm about to. So there'll be something.
He's a terrific bloke too. He's a great bloke.
We'll be lining it up for the new year. This was a really good email to get in, and I certainly really appreciated reading it. It's from D, and D writes, "Hi Dave. Just a message to wish you, Ian and Julian, a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, and to thank you for bringing me and many others the 90 minutes of joy every fortnight that I look forward to now with such a passion. I know that we've been corresponding for a little while now, and I thought it was time to share my story. I work nights in a job and have no workmates, so my only connection with the real is the podcasts or overnight radio. And she goes on to say how much listening to the podcast makes them actually feel part of a community.
Yep.
And we've had so many emails in the past of actually people writing in saying that we sort of make them feel like part of the family. Well, for us, it's like we're part of their family as well at the same time.
Yeah.
And sort of the linkages we have with all the other guys who do the podcast as well, and it's just it just feels like a real global community, but a really small one as well at the same time.
You're very tight. We're a tight bunch of people.
Yeah. So I really appreciate that letter from you, D. And she goes on to write, if you ever think of that what you are doing doesn't help anyone, forget it. There are times that I haven't been at a dark point in my life, and then I hear Julian trying to explain oldie times, and Ian saying, Fudowich is your friend. Or me, Dave, mispronouncing names. I know that there are things in the world worth living for. Again, Merry Christmas and a big thank you for such a bright light in an otherwise dark world. P.S. I've included a couple of photos to show you of the work that she's been doing.
Well, thanks, D.
Yeah,
that's lovely.
It is. Actually, sent me a photo of a little dingo that she built, and
is that the mini art one?
Well, it looks like it, and did a damn better job than I did on mine. So
she's got the skills.
Yeah. So thanks very much, D. Really appreciate that email.
Almost anyone who builds armor kits is probably more experienced than you are, Dave.
Hey, listen, I've built quite a few.
Oh, burn!
Listen here, Sunshine.
Because
I was building
Sunshine.
armor kits before you were even in nappies.
The old back in the day ones don't count, right?
Oh, so you're saying Airfix and Matchbox don't count?
No, I'm saying anything you did before you returned to the hobby doesn't count.
Why is that?
Because that was stuff you did as a kid. Now you take it seriously because you're an adult.
I took it seriously when I was a 10-year-old.
It's not. You know, it's not the same thing, right?
Back then, it was buy a kit because it had a pretty box, slap it together, throw some glossy Humbrol paint on it, and run around the room going. Brrr.
Okay.
I
I didn't even do that as a kid, you know.
I did what?
I didn't even do that.
I still
as a
do
kid.
it now. Look, I'm one of the first to admit that, yes, I occasionally run around the lounge room going. Brrr.
Oh, you know what? This part of the conversation is going to devolve into you guys shaming me for not doing it. And
No.
Oh, we would never shame you,
No,
Julian.
not you, Julian. No, you're too precious.
I don't have that kind of shame anyway.
Stephen Lee writes in, hello again on the bench team. Just listened to your latest episode and enjoyed the talk with Al Murray. He fits right in and added even more sizzle to the already engaging OTB conversation. While you were discussing new products, the topic of Amusing Hobbies Valley of Tears Shot Cal, i.e. the Israeli and Centurion tank, came up. If you didn't already know, Valley of Tears is a new HBO series, not unlike your favourite Band of Brothers in the Pacific, but focused on the Golan Heights front in the 1973 Yom Kippur War. The tank battles are reasonably well done, and the actual shot and Nagmash, I'll probably mispronounce that, which is the Israeli M113, vehicles appear throughout, as well as the Soviet-built BTR 152s and T-55/62s. I'm a former US Army cavalry scout, and I know something about armoured warfare, and I give this series my stamp of approval. Where most movies get armoured warfare wrong in many ways, this one gets it far more right than wrong, and tank tactics are a plot point. See it if you can. Funny story about Valley of Tears and the Amusing Hobby Kit. I was so taken by the series, Shot Cals, that I thought to myself, I need to find a kit of this. Meanwhile, across the living room, my father-in-law, who is staying with us while recovering from surgery, and for whom Valley of Tears has been nightly viewing, said, Steve, you need to go on Google and find one of your miniature kits of that Israeli tank and build it. Sure enough, Amusing Hobby Shot Cal is actually licensed from Valley of Tears and part of the Valley of Tears HBO series packaging. Which is really fantastic. And thanks again for your show. Looking forward to your next episode. That is from Steve Lee. And you know what? It's very unusual to come across a series that gets the points of the warfare down correctly.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And with Steve being an ex-tanker, and that comes as a real high recommendation. So I'm going to have to go and dig that out now. So, and it's funny because we're talking about movies. I went and rewatched Midway. And I was just as disappointed the second time as I was the first time.
And funny thing, I watched it again last week and enjoyed it.
Yeah, see, I don't know what it is. It's just, look, the action shots and everything are good and everything and all that, but I don't know, there's just something about it that's just, I don't know, it just feels slightly off, and I can't put my finger on what it is. And yet I can sit and watch Band of Brothers Pacific, and also the other highly underrated war movie is The Thin Red Line.
Yes.
I can watch them over and over and over, and each time I find it just as entertaining and extremely real to life.
Yep.
So when
I originally watched that Greyhound.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet because I haven't got Apple TV yet.
It's not bad. The only bug I've got about is U-boats were never painted with giant wolves on the coning towers and big iron crosses with skulls in them.
Yeah.
And no U-boat commander in his right mind would taunt the Allied convoys over the radio and survive being thrown overboard by his own crew. But besides that, no, it was good. It had the Fletcher-class destroyers, had the Flower-class from the Canadians, had a couple of river
counters.
No, not river counters. Were they river? What were the British destroyers? Were they river? No, not river. What were they? Tribal
class.
Yeah, some tribal. So yeah, it was.
There are actually some tribal class destroyers in there.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. John Colasanti writes in from New York, and he says, "Hi guys, I really enjoy your podcast, especially the casual conversation style, along with the solid news and tech tips. My question is, when you are recording the podcast, are you consciously trying not to use Aussie slang, or is it just the way you would normally talk? I'm not referring to swearing, I'm referring to the using Australian slang words in conversation."
Jargon.
Well, strike me pink.
No, there's not that much thought that goes into this, and I sort of I'm on standby to sort of clarify things if it gets too obscure.
Occasionally we drop the odd bit of Aussie slang, but
I think it's probably
But I think the problem is if we start going in the Aussie slang too heavy, we'd lose half our listeners because they wouldn't have a clue what we're saying.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, and we swear a heck of a lot more than what we do when we're actually doing the podcast. In real life.
Yeah. But to keep it like at a PG-ish type of rating as we try to.
As we try to, yes.
We try and keep the language to a bare minimum.
Yeah.
Occasionally the odd word slips in and out. But I think most modelers will just go, oh, well.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of cases where people get upset on the internet.
Oh, yeah, but that's...
Where they're like, I listen to this in front of my kids.
Oh, yeah, but that's them having a go at poor old Doogie. Because there's always the poor old dude when he's doing his... And, like, I've watched a heap of his stuff, and, yeah, he swears like a sailor, but that's just the way how he does it, and I don't have a problem with it.
No.
I don't know. Look, I work in the building industry, so the language I hear is pretty good. Right?
Pretty blue.
Pretty blue, yeah. It's a good way of putting it. And that stuff. And if anyone puts something online that I don't agree with or I find offensive, which is pretty rarely for me to find something offensive, it's just... I'm not one of these people to go on there and go, oh, you did this and made me feel really bad and made my 4-year-old kid cry. Get over it. Change your channel.
We're just...
It's just move on. It's like, ignore it.
There's so much stuff on the internet now. You don't need to worry about the things that you don't like. Just there's always going to be another one.
It's like one of my favourites is like you get on that Facebook and someone will post something and next thing you know there'll be all these people getting offended with it. It's like, if I see something on Facebook and I don't agree, I just keep scrolling. Don't worry about it. Just move on. Go to something that's more entertaining. Don't make a big deal. All you do is fanning fire.
Clearly a passionate subject for you.
Oh, yeah, it pisses me off. It does. It really does. Some people are just way too precious for their own good.
But, you know, some people...
Life's too short.
Yeah, but some people like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
They're like... They seek out areas of conflict.
Yeah, exactly. They're morons.
Well...
Now, Ian has spoken.
Yes, he's getting all wound up.
Maybe that's the future of conflict. It's just arguments on the internet and no longer fought with firearms and explosives.
Yes.
Were you there for the great argument?
Well, thanks very much, everybody who's written in.
Yes.
Now, remember, we're not back until February, so if you do send us an email, and the email address is onthebench64@gmail.com. Yeah, I had a bit of a brain fart just then. Don't forget, we're not back until February, so if we... And I'll respond to you, but it won't certainly get read out until that episode in Feb. So, But thank you, everybody, for your fantastic support.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
been really
definitely.
good. And we love getting the emails in.
Oh yeah, we do.
What
It's
people
a
say.
highlight. It's a highlight. We get to hear if we're doing our job properly.
So I think I think we'd do a bit of a trip around the world. Seeing this is our 100th episode, let's have a bit of a look about who's listening to us. So by far the biggest market for us and our biggest listener base is the good old US of A.
I gotta love our American cousins.
Absolutely. And then, of course, highest listener base comes from good old Oz. And then the next one is old Blighty over in the UK.
That means, the
motherland.
UK.
Well, some
Old Blighty?
Old Blighty.
I've never heard of that one.
Haven't you?
before.
That's old-timey,
It's
Julian.
old-timey stuff.
Are you
Joel.
sure you're not just after that listener mail that came in about our use of
Language.
Australianisms?
No, old Blighty.
Old Blighty is
is
actually
an English term.
English term, yeah.
Okay.
So there you go. You
Yeah.
learn something every day, Julian.
Yeah.
Okay.
You young whippersnappers.
And then we got those Canadians, syrup maple leaf friends. They're the next to the biggest listeners. But there's some interesting ones that pop up around the world. We have never had anybody from China listen to us.
They probably wouldn't be allowed to.
Well, probably can't get through their filters, maybe. Or
Correct.
something.
Yeah, that might be the case. They might have to use a VPN or something.
So we can say whatever you want about Trumpeter and without any
In which
fear
case,
of retribution.
Well, if they were using a VPN, they would show up as some other country, not as China.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go, Dave.
Egypt is. We've had about 50 people from Egypt who've downloaded us at some point, which is
that's great.
Another interesting little fact.
That's great to see some of it. Yeah, because I don't think there's enough Middle Eastern modelers around.
Well, while
That
we're
we
on
know
the
of.
African continent, if we sort of pop down, somebody from Zambia listened to us once upon a time. There's a huge, small, but very loyal following in South Africa.
Yes, that's been going for a few years.
If we skip over now let's go over to South America and Ecuador. There was a person who listened to us once upon a time in Ecuador.
One time.
Peru. A couple of guys popped up in Peru. Brazil has a small but very keen following, as does Argentina, and there's only one person in Chile.
You can't list off every single country on the
I
globe.
can't, but I can't not go past some of these other ones. Finland, Sweden, and Norway. Very, very strong listener base over there. So g'day to everybody.
Mind you,
over there.
that's got some of the top quality modelers up that area too. I've seen some of the books that come out from some of the diorama work from those guys is just second to none.
Germany and the Netherlands and Poland and all of Europe. We've got some pretty strong sort of listener bases out there as well.
Well, the modelling community is pretty strong out there.
Yeah.
Iceland, 24 times have been downloaded from Iceland.
It'd be the same person.
But nobody from Greenland yet.
Well, is there anyone on Greenland?
I don't know, is there? There must be. Somebody must live in Greenland. There must be a model.
The only thing green on Greenland is lichen, isn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, do you know the story of Greenland?
Well,
It was discovered by a
there.
Viking king or a Jarl, I presume he was back then, and to get
Is
people
it-
to get people to emigrate over
Isn't
there.
it Jarl?
Jarl, yeah. But to get people to emigrate, he came up with the name Greenland. So everyone thought it was going to be full of trees and lush. So that's how they got people to go
Yeah,
over
the
there.
world's first chunky real estate
Yeah,
agent.
basically, yeah.
But I thought it was actually green because of the climate difference or something. back then.
Volcanic.
Oh, wow,
It's
yeah.
a very volcanic area.
It's
Well,
also,
Greenland or Iceland? Iceland's volcanic.
So is Greenland.
also Greenland's size is overstated on the world
on
map.
world maps,
It's not
yeah.
that big.
No.
If you actually
What you see on a common world map,
yeah.
the continent sizes are all over the shop.
Yeah, because you can't flatten
A globe, yeah.
a globe, yeah. So or a sphere. So the it sort of gets overrepresented.
Oh, yeah, that's true. There is some funny things about that, isn't there?
Yep.
I thought we might have a look at some of our most popular episodes. Yeah, go on.
Before we do that, I'll throw in like a personal story. So there's this bar in the Philippines that I have been to, and
I could imagine you've been to a few bars, Julian.
this bar, it has like this sort of like 12-shot challenge, right?
Yep.
And if you're able to complete it, you get a little brass nameplate put on the wall.
Yep.
Right? So everybody who goes to this place is like, oh, I want my name on the wall. Hell yeah! So they go and do the 12 shots. It's not that difficult because they put things in like ketchup in one of those shots. It's just a shot of ketchup, so you don't have to worry about them all
Yeah, getting poisoned.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about having too much alcohol.
So is your name up in a little brass plate?
No, I didn't stick around that long. In any case, but every time someone does this challenge, it puts up 1 point for their country, and on the near the ceiling, there's like all the countries up there, and like a what do you call it? It's keeping track of how many points each country has.
Yep.
Right, and of course, like the top ones are all like Western countries, like the US, Canada, Australia, UK, Germany, blah blah blah. And then you look at the far end, like where there's almost no counters, and there's like North Korea.
There's one from North
not
Korea.
joking. I don't know if it was someone's idea of a joke and they said, "Oh yeah, I'm from North Korea," but there was North Korea up there, and it had at least 1 point.
1 point. Well, someone got out.
I'll tell you one country you wouldn't see there, one continent, is Antarctica. Yeah.
Because no one's born.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, as far as we know, nobody's been born down
In
there.
any case, it's always
Not
classified
for
as...
not for at least 20,000 years, anyway.
Well, there's probably been some people conceived down there, but certainly not born down there.
Not for 20,000 years.
Yeah, at least.
Because don't forget, Antarctica wasn't always under ice.
No, it wasn't.
You just got to have a look at the Piri Reis map.
Well, it used to be part of Gondwana land.
Gondwana land.
Well, in any
So
case-
did everything, mate. Everything was part of Gondwana land.
Well, in
mate.
any case, it's not necessarily like places you're from. It's more on these lists.
Yeah.
It's more like what nation you're from.
Yeah.
And so, like, since Antarctica is divided into between all the various nations and stuff.
I'd almost go to the Philippines just to do the shot challenge. That sounds like a...
Well, it's a pretty seedy bar.
Oh, well, I'd fit right in then.
You would, yeah, definitely.
But on the plus side, it is on a very nice island with some very nice beaches.
Yeah, I want to go to beach where you get sand everywhere.
Yeah, sand up your crack.
Yep.
It's not much fun.
No.
Beaches are good when you're kids. Plus, you can't do any modelling at a beach anyway.
Well, that's true too.
I suppose, but I don't think anyone would go there to do modelling in the first place.
Here we go.
Yeah, so like if I was going to do some modelling at a beach, I would definitely get one of those. Oh, I saw this thread on Facebook, and it was about those little mini compressors, the ones that come with an airbrush and you screw it on top.
Yep. I remember that. Yep.
Oh, I mentioned this to you.
Yeah.
The ones that fit in your hand.
Yeah,
Yeah, stupid idea.
it's like I thought it was a can of compressed air that you have to refill or something.
No, it's a little compressor.
Yeah, it's a little compressor.
What a dumb idea.
No,
Depends how heavy it is or cumbersome.
Like it gets in the way because like it's not like there's a lead that runs.
No.
Because like the way it works is you have to remove the air valve off the bottom. Like if you're going to put your regular airbrush on it, because it comes with an airbrush, you have to remove the little air valve thing off the bottom of it before you screw it on.
And now, is it going to be like...
And the reason
the
for
big
that,
question for me for that, does it have an air tank?
No.
So you're just going to have pulsating...
Yep.
yeah, but I don't think pulsating is that big of a problem.
Right.
Right? It's not that big of a problem in the grand scheme of things. If you want like, if you need to have like some mobile small compressor type thing, like pulsing is the least of your problems.
Oh, because with the interclub challenge we have down here in Victoria, that'd be a great thing for an interclub challenge, rather than have to. Because Dave knows all about the interclub challenges. Because down here in Australia, in Victoria, we have the interclub, which is held by Waverley.
Yeah, and it's sort of like you go on, take all your stuff to a given place where they're having the competition.
Theoretically, you should only have a shoebox full of tools, but everyone brings, like myself, I cheat. I bring the car boot, and I just have all my paints in the car boot. And when we find out what kit we are, I quickly run to the car and grab all the corresponding paint colours and then run back in.
So it's build a model in a day, isn't it?
It's built, actually not even a day.
No.
It's usually about 3 hours or so, 3 or 4 hours.
5 hours.
I think it's about 5 hours or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got the whole club, so you can have like your tag team. You have like about 10
Divide
people.
the tasks
Yeah.
and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
And we've won that a few times within
Yeah.
the club. But
I mean, like,
and it's a lot of fun. Even if you don't win, it is one of the best things. Like I personally find it probably more enjoyable than Expo. because it's more, it's smaller and it's everyone's-
really like good at community.
Yeah, and everyone's
building.
positive and everyone chats amongst themselves and like even you end up talking and cracking jokes with the team you're up against.
Yeah, and they'll come and like, oh, do you have any super glue? We don't have
Yeah.
any. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah,
Borrow some
help
super
yourself.
glue, dude.
Yeah,
Have at it.
yeah.
Was-
But it's great. It's and for that sort of situation, that little airbrush should be absolutely perfect because
Yeah.
otherwise you've got to use the hairy stick and
Yeah, but see, here's the thing with it. It looks awkward to hold.
It does, but that's like I said, that's not the point. It's not about comfort. If you want comfort, you just use your
Yeah.
proper compressor at home. This is for something on the go.
yeah.
This is portability over all else.
So you reckon that's what it's been designed for? It's battery operated, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
So you plug it in via, like, it charges like a phone does. You
Yeah.
have like a USB cable type thing that plugs into it and it charges and takes like an hour or something to charge. And then you get
But
like
that
an hour's
gives you-
worth. And then you get like an hour's
No,
worth
it was
of...
more than that. I think you told me it was about 3 hours worth.
No,
of
it's about an hour and a
But
bit.
even an hour and a bit of constant spraying is a lot of spraying.
It is, yeah.
You think about when you do your airbrushing, like for example, a 1/35 scale tank, you're not going to be painting the one colour for an hour.
Yeah. And then, so anyway, the reason why you don't have the air valve on it is because it screws directly onto the top of this thing.
Yeah.
And then when you press down the trigger for air, it turns on the motor.
Yep.
So it's not just a valve anymore. It's also like turning the device
An on-off switch, yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you adjust the air pressure?
There's
don't.
like there's a switch on it that gives you either high or low. So there's not a lot of control there.
Right.
But it's in the middle. It's around in the like 20 to something or other PSI.
So I'm just thinking about some of our listeners who travel and build at the same time, and it perhaps sounds like a good idea for them if they want to consider painting while they're on the road.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I've seen people like because you can only buy it with the airbrush that comes with it, and it's like a cheap nasty airbrush,
Okay.
right?
But
So-
for what we want, what
Yeah.
we were suggesting, that's perfect. You
Yeah.
don't need a top-notch airbrush if you're doing one of these challenges.
Yeah, and they're about like $80 Australian.
That's pretty
For the
reasonable.
whole thing.
Yeah,
I'll have to think about getting one.
Why?
Just something handy tool to have.
Oh, okay.
You can, as Julian says, you
never
can
have enough-
never have
no,
enough
yeah.
tools, mate.
So why did you bring this up?
I can't remember.
Because we're at least, well, I don't know, Dave. Maybe it's got something to do with us being a podcast about modelling.
Yeah,
Don't know, mate.
I thought he had a point.
No. I got onto this because of something that was mentioned, but I can't remember what that thing was.
I can't remember either.
In any case, those things are really cool. I
Yeah.
deserve a bit more credit than because people sort of are like, "What's that thing for?"
And poo-poo.
I don't need that thing. You know, kind of like your attitude right now.
You know, you poo-poo. You can't
But
poo-poo
everything has its purpose,
Well,
all right?
yes, Julian. You're
All
right.
you
You're very
need is
true.
the need.
Yes.
You know, you might
Very
scoff
true.
at if you're the guy who only models at home, but if you're the guy that has to travel for business and stuff like that, or you have to, take the kids to the beach, but you're not doing anything there except watching them, making sure they don't drown.
Which you're not going to be doing well if you
And-
spray painting.
And
But they can't spend all their
Yeah.
time in the bloody water. They're going to come out and they're going to eat lunch, and you're going to be like, "Oh, now I can do some modelling."
one of our listeners wrote in one saying he's a FIFO worker, which fly in, fly out worker. So he flies into those remote mine sites,
Yeah.
stays there for 2 weeks, much like an oil rig worker when
Yep.
you fly out the
Yeah,
oil
yeah.
rig and I think you work 12 hours on, 12 hours off.
And that, for someone like that, that'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, when you're doing that sort of, you in my mind, if you're in that sort of situation, when you're on site and you don't have all your gear with you, and
Yeah.
you've just got this, you used to use this airbrush for like the base colouring.
Yeah.
And like if you're doing like a one-shot colour, it's perfect for. But when you
Oh,
start doing
it'd be-
camouflages and
Yeah.
stuff, that's when you wait till you get back home and you start
Yep.
using your really good quality airbrushes.
Mm.
But for basic colouring and stuff like that, it's perfect.
Oh yeah. I mean, like for something as simple as like the up to the point of where you close it up. You know, like if you're doing an armored vehicle, you can spray the white interior.
Yep.
Or if you're doing an aircraft, you can spray your interior color, and then
If you're doing a Sherman
get
tank,
straight-
if you're doing a Sherman tank, you do the whole kit.
yeah, just hose that thing down with
Yes, just
olive
hit it with
drab.
green, mate. Just hit it with olive drab and it's done.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so getting on to our most popular episodes that we've ever recorded.
Oh, here we go.
This is quite interesting, actually. So, what happened to Wingnut Wings, episode 85?
Oh yeah, that of course. That
5 short of nearly 5,000 downloads in that one,
There you go.
which is just astounding. Episode number 1 comes second.
Good. Really, the worst episode ever.
No, episode number 1's not bad. It's episode 2 and 3. It's 4 and maybe 5. It wasn't until we got. It wasn't until we sort of. We had, if you recall, the history behind it is, we got Julian in for some reason, and
I was there at our model club.
That's right.
And you said, "I want you on the podcast," and I said, "Okay."
And then just kept coming back. He took the invite for just the one episode.
Yeah, you've even moved
opened-
house and I followed you here.
That's right.
I only meant to have you for one episode. He kept coming back, so I couldn't say no. It's like a lost
Okay.
puppy, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like a kitten that turns up on your doorstep.
He just gets those big eyes. The big eyes happen, and it's like, oh, okay.
Or like a homeless person that breaks into your house and eats your food.
Oh, what do they call it? We have someone living in your house, you don't know about it.
A squatter.
No. There's a term for it. It's these people. It's this. It's not a subculture. It's this thing though, where somebody lives in your house, like they go hide up in the attic or.
There's a word for that?
Yeah, there is.
Like a dedicated
There's a term.
word?
Yeah. So they go and hide up in your attic or something like that, and when you all go to sleep, they come creeping down, and they'll eat stuff out of your fridge.
I'm creeping down.
They'll use your dunny and then they'll go back upstairs and live up in the attic or something like that. And there's a word for it.
Yeah. It's not snowdropper.
No, snowdropper's when you pinch
Underwear.
off clotheslines.
Yes.
I think in the pursuit of trying to find the right word, we might come across some particularly unsafe words.
Yes, very true. Let's continue on with some of our most enjoyable episodes. Of course, Wingnut Wings, when we had a chat with the then general manager, Richard Alexander, was one of the top ones as well. And what happened to Wingnut Wings Part 2 was one of the other highest scoring ones as well. And, of course, the new 132nd scale Lancaster, when we were talking about that when it came out. This was to do with the Wingnut Wings one.
Yep. Which will never see the light of day.
No, so, interestingly, the 5 highest ranking ones have all got to do with Wingnut Wings.
Yep.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Considering I've never built a Wingnut Wings kit.
I've got one on my shelf of doom.
Well, I've got a albatross and I'm planning to sell it. Because I'm never going to build it.
I might have a look at that after we finish recording this.
No, don't you look at it, because then I'll have to give you mates rates for it. I couldn't charge you full price in good conscience.
Oh, I'm not sure if you're trying to be kind or trying to be nasty now.
No, I'm trying to be kind. I mean,
well, no, because like what you're saying is, please don't buy it off me, because then I'll have to sell it to you cheaply, and I want to make money.
well, I don't need the money. It's hard.
Well, I've got a spare albatross if you want one.
How many albatrosses have you got?
2. I've got the standard D5A.
Which is the one I think I've got.
Yep, and I've got the Red Baron D5.
Yeah, I've got a D5A. Yeah.
No, well, I'll think about it, because I don't know.
I'm never going to... Trust me, if you open the box and look at it, you're going to go...
It is a beautiful kit. It is a stunning kit.
Yeah.
It is amazing. The engineering is just...
I get
second to
excited
none.
just looking at the instructions. Because they're beautifully presented instructions.
If you say so.
It's almost... You can almost take the book and read it in bed
Did you ever
before
buy
you
any
go to sleep.
aftermarket for it?
No. It
I
doesn't
did.
need it.
I did.
It doesn't
But
need
then again, I'm hopeless. I can't help myself. Oh, aftermarket for it. Oh, shiny.
All right, after this, I'll go and dig it out. You know what? I'm going to go dig it out now. You guys keep talking. I'll go dig it out.
I'm going to talk. Oh, good. Dave's not here. All right. Oh, you know the worst thing, Julian? He's going to his
Dave.
model room. No. If he was going somewhere else, Julian, we could sneak into his stash and play Kit Surprise. Now, for those listeners that don't know what Kit Surprise is, it's the worst thing you do to a modeler.
He doesn't have enough stuff that's samey, though.
Yeah, with Kit Surprises is you open up every box and you swap the sprues.
Yeah, but look, that works most effectively if they have more than one of the same kit.
Yeah, I did that once too.
But there's still differences.
I did that once
right?
to a mate of mine. He had a whole heap of, I think it was Messerschmitts or Focke-Wulfs, and I just started. And the worst thing was, he wanted to build specific aircraft. So one had this type of wing and one had that type.
Yeah,
of
that's the
fuselage.
ideal scenario.
And so he had
right?
all his kits set up.
See, I'm back.
And then I came in there and swapped everything over, which meant he had to do it. He had to spend nearly a week
Albatross
Resorting.
Albatross DV.
Yep.
Okay.
D5, I should say, not DV.
Yeah. What?
See what I mean by the book? Isn't it gorgeous?
Okay.
You take it to bed and you go, oh, how come I've got a marking in there? What's that say?
You've got a post-it note in here that
What?
says Bob's Buckles.
Oh, that's because I was thinking of buying Bob's Buckles to go with it, but I never did.
No, you just use the gas patch ones.
Yeah. So what do you
Just
think?
cheap.
Has it got a price on the side of it? The box? Did I?
Probably not.
Well, because I mean, like, I want to build like one of these sort of aircraft, and obviously the Wingnut Wings kits are the best kits. But I'm not sure if it's the Albatross or one of the other types of planes that really interest me. Is it what's a SPAD?
You don't get. Oh,
You can't get a SPAD.
I know there's no SPADs. I know that. I know that much.
I love a SPAD 13. It was always the one I always asked him about. Can you make a SPAD 13?
The SPADs are the ground attack type aircraft, are they not?
No, SPAD 13 was a fighter.
Okay.
Well, sexy looking fighter too. Especially the scallops at the rear of the wings. Are just lovely. Oh look, I'm not a fan of French aircraft, but for some reason I always loved the SPAD.
So, I know. See, I don't know enough about World War One aircraft, and
Well,
there's
not
like
many of us do because there's no one left alive who dealt with them.
Yeah, but I don't like. You can at least go, oh, that's a thing, that's a that, and you know when you see a various plane. But I don't know the names of any of them except for the kits that I own, which is one or two. I remember seeing there's this one that looks kind of like an Albatross, but it's more like ground attack oriented, and it's got like the exhaust stubs sort of, dump out the top. There's like
like a Halberstat or something like that.
Is that what it is?
Could be.
I'm
not that familiar myself, Julian. I'm just having a wild guess.
Actually, I'm just looking at the side of the box, and the scheme for Fritz Rumney from Justa 5. Gee, I wouldn't mind building that.
Now he doesn't want to sell it. That's all right. I got one to sell.
It looks quite good. Why am I going to get rid of it?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Because it scares you?
No, it doesn't scare me at all. It's
Wait,
what it
you want to
is.
do this black and white striped one?
Yeah, it looks damn cool.
Really?
Yeah.
Looks like a lollipop.
No, it looks fine.
The candy cane.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Definitely.
Hey, look, we're going to get on with the show. We can't sit here drooling and look at this box. So,
Yeah, but that's when you think about it. Like whenever two modelers come together, this is 90% of what they do.
Yeah.
well, it is actually. Yeah.
One of my favorite things is going over to some other modeler's house, and then running through their stash and going, "Oh, that's cool. I want to have a look at that kit that I don't own."
Yeah, you've done it at my place a few times.
I have to.
Yeah.
You would think I only need to do that once.
But then you get to my stash and there's a few kits.
I know. And
There's a few kits to
I
go
cry
through.
because Ian's got a kit that I've always wanted, and he found it, and I've never been able to find one.
Which one's that?
The 4-stacker destroyer, the US
Oh,
Navy.
yes. The USS Ward, I think it was.
USS Ward from beginning of the war.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
one that
Sank the Japanese
submarine
sub.
at Pearl Harbor.
Oh my God, that's a beautiful kit.
Yes.
Can't find one.
I'm trying to remember begins with a G, the brand.
I don't know. It was using the dental.
Dental resin.
Dental resin.
It's one of the best castings I've ever seen. I
yeah.
mean, the casting is just amazing.
Mm.
Really, really, really good and really smooth. I mean, it's so smooth. It's like touching silk.
Yeah.
Love it. One day I'll build it.
Yeah, well. Anyway, I want to get on. So this episode is dropping on
Boxing Day.
Boxing Day. So I want to have a quick look at the Annus Horribilis year in review, what we've done, what we've built, and what we're hoping for in 2021. So let's start with looking back in 2020 and some of the horror things that happened. And because we've got the Albatross D5 sitting on the table, we can't not talk about
The demise
of Wingnut Wings, which rocked the modelling world.
It was a bolt out of the blue.
And even
For
today,
99% of us.
even today, there's still reverberations going on.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely.
And then there was the paint that's no longer being manufactured.
Oh, testers.
Testers, yes.
Mhm.
And some of our
Yeah,
listeners over in the US, there's still buckets of tears over there that are being emptied.
Really?
Yeah, I'm serious.
I don't know. If ever like enamel manufacturer bit the dust, I wouldn't lose any sleep over it.
Yeah, but the thing that over in America is for such an amazing country with such broad importing.
Mm.
When it came to modelling paints, they were very limited what they could get.
In a way,
Because you see, there's a lot of people online in the
lot of ways.
States, and they can't get hold of Guns paints.
Really?
You mention Guns paints to half, and they go, "What's that brand?"
Yeah.
We can't get that. We can get Testers
Yeah.
and Tamaya,
Mm.
and that's about it. Otherwise, we've got to import. We can't go to a local hobby shop and buy these other paints. We've got to import.
They have to import a lot of stuff anyway.
Mm.
When you think about it, there's nothing left in the United States
Well,
for,
same as
for
here.
modelling.
Same as here in
No,
Australia.
not necessarily.
No,
We've got SMS,
Yeah.
the
we do
scale
too,
model
yeah,
supplies,
yeah.
which is better than
Yeah.
most like countries as far as like having homegrown, manufactured stuff for models.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it, there's no Revel USA anymore,
No.
no testers,
Yeah.
Yeah,
no
you really got-
monogram,
yeah.
no accurate miniatures.
Yeah, I think Accurate Miniatures went. Yeah.
Yeah, accurate miniatures. I couldn't remember if that was the right
Yeah.
name. So they don't have anything left except for maybe Reaper paints.
Mm-hmm.
The figure paints, Reaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reaper, from Reaper Miniatures.
Yeah, I believe that's US,
Oh, right.
but they don't have anything else anymore.
Hmm.
And when you consider like how many modelers there are in the United States and how much buying power they have, it's
Well, considering you think about it, America really pioneered the plastic modelling.
No, I think
No,
it
I
started
reckon-
off in the UK with the guy who did
Yeah,
Airfix.
but we're talking modern modelling.
Yeah, the modelling era.
Yeah, like Monogram and companies like that.
in any
AMT, Ertl, all those companies that no longer, a lot of them don't exist
AMT
anymore.
AMT still exists.
Polar Light still exists.
Polar Lights, yeah.
They still exist.
None of the other companies. What do you have over in Japan? You had Tamaya.
Yeah.
And then
And-
Hasegawa came along.
Mm.
And then later on Bandai and a few of the other companies. But
the point I'm getting at is like, so surely there should be some more. Like, why is there not more upcoming manufacturers and products coming out of the United States? I mean, the United States tends to have that entrepreneurial spirit, and yet there's not really that much.
That's a very good question, actually.
I suppose our American listeners would probably be the best people to answer that.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, we've
Maybe
seen
I'll let
we've
us-
seen some fantastic sort of small model companies kicking off here in Australia, and Horizon Models, which builds 1/72 scale rockets. They're going strong. Unfortunately, we had another one, but tragically we lost John.
Yeah.
So Showcase Models.
Yeah. They've got a few of their kits.
Yeah.
I've built at least 2 or 3 of their subs.
But then, of course, we had the pandemic, which came along and knocked everybody for a sixer, and it still continues to sort of reverberate around the world even as we speak, especially in the US and in Europe. But it's been one of those things where it's had a cloud with a silver lining because anecdotally, and certainly from my questioning of hobby stores and everything, they've been just doing a roaring trade at the moment. And I reckon people are perhaps building more and more people come back to the hobby.
I think it's pushed a lot of people back into the hobby.
I agree. So it's had a sort of, for our hobby.
Hopefully some of them stick to it and don't sort of drop it as soon as they go back.
I think they will. I do.
I suppose
really
it depends
think,
on how long COVID lasts for them.
Yeah, see, but this is the thing nowadays. You've got so many you got access to the internet where if you're coming back to the hobby or even the first timer, you can go and Google and YouTube, and you've got all this sort of stuff that tells you how to do everything, and it really sort of spurs you on to go, oh,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
Whereas
Exactly.
in the past, if we had sort of been in isolation without it, we would have, apart from buying a model magazine or attending a club, you're sort of pretty much in isolation, weren't you?
Exactly, yeah. We had no idea.
You know what? I always found like modeling magazines to be kind of detached from my own personal situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I grew up with modelling magazines.
Like it's like here's this
I
magazine
did
full of products,
yeah.
and the chances of me getting my hands on any of them were remote because they were all like overseas type stuff. Like you pick up fine scale models, like that's the American Modeling Society of sorts, you know, and what they can get there is not what I can get here.
Yeah, I think.
We did have until very recently. We had Model Art Australia, but unfortunately, that's now finished.
Yeah,
I think the last one came out a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, but digital versions of the modelling magazines are now available, and I find them just as, or even more so helpful than the old paper versions to some degree.
Yeah, but I mean, like the way...
Yeah, there was one publication that changed my whole modelling life.
What's that?
Shep's Payne's How to Build Dioramas.
Oh, okay.
That book opened my eyes. Before then, I considered myself a hack. Once reading that book, and I've read that book cover to cover so many times that the pages are falling out of it. And look, a lot of stuff he done is now dated.
Yep.
But it's still got that good base that you can begin with.
Yeah.
And the ideas and the composition and colour modulation and all that originally came from him. It wasn't done this modern way, but the effect was still good.
Wow.
And that's when I first realised that I don't have to build this out of the box. I can make changes.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't quite look right. I can change that to make it look better. And that just opened my eyes, and all of a sudden, I don't have to use a hairy stick. I can buy this thing that sprays.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I'll get one of them.
Yeah.
And then once you get your first airbrush, well, that's it. Modelling life has just changed 180 degrees.
Absolutely.
You've gone from slapping paint on to just having really nice finishes.
Yeah, I must admit, it rocked my world getting an airbrush.
Yeah. So, Andrew, if you're listening, buy that airbrush.
See, the thing is, I've never built, apart from figures, I've never built a model kit without an airbrush.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
Not even when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, because my dad was already a modeler. He's like,
yes.
if I'm going to get into this, I'm going to do it properly.
Spoilt
And
child.
So, he bought an airbrush.
You were lucky.
Yeah, Julian was born. He wasn't
was
born with a
silver
silver spoon.
spoon.
He was
Yeah.
born with a sprue in his mouth.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. Geez, you're lucky. My dad, my father, bless his soul, he was totally against it 100%.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, the very first model that I did with my dad, we actually sprayed it with some silver paint, and it was terrible. So we wiped it all off and then brush painted it. But the airbrush still got onto it, so that counts.
Yes. Very true. But geez, hasn't modelling changed over the years?
It has.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just amazing
And-
how far we've gone.
Have you guys found you've built more this year than in
No.
other years? Oh, I have.
No.
Oh, I have.
No, with my new job, my modelling has gone down by at least 2/3.
Well, gee, I must be the exception. I've built, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Well, see-
6, 7. I reckon I've finished 10 kits this year.
See, the thing is, like a lot of my drive comes from building for a purpose. So without Model Expo and like a sort of need to follow a theme or something, like a kind of like I need restrictions in order to really push myself. If I'm left to freely like float about, I just don't do as much.
I think I've built 3 aeroplanes. I think. I've built the Mustang, the Buffalo, and the Tomeo Spitfire. I think that's it for me.
Aircraft builds are more involved for you than armor kits.
Mind
right?
you, the Spitfire only took about 2.5 weeks. The Tomeo
that's
Spitfire.
That's kind of like a cheat, isn't it?
Oh, that
like-
was such an easy kit to build. I mean, I've never built a kit that just went together so well.
Do you have the 109 from Tamiya, the
No.
more recent release?
No.
Oh, but you're not interested in doing that anyway, are you?
No, I've gone off the boil with Luftwaffe.
I wonder what
Completely off the boil.
the next 48 scale release from Tamiya would be.
It's always a surprise, isn't it?
You've got the Lightning.
No. I've got the.
You need to get the Lightning,
I've
don't you?
the problem is I've got the Edward boxing, which is the Academy sprues, but with all the Edward gear.
Wait.
That's for the EF version. P30.
Oh, the Academy. No.
Yeah.
Ditch that.
No, because it's got really good, and it's got the coolest skull nose art that's got a skull with a monocle.
No,
top
you
hat.
can keep that, right? Just throw the plastic in the bin. I'm telling you now, that is not a fight worth fighting.
Oh.
Not when there's that beautiful Tamiya kit.
Oh.
Like any other airframe, you could probably just do with the old kit in some fashion.
Oh, yeah,
and
but-
brute force it, with all
Yeah,
your...
but with P38s, you've got to be careful because of the boom alignment.
Yeah,
and
the
so
boom
forth.
alignment, everything's so thin, so there's not enough structural sort of, even if you're able to get it straight, nothing, like the panel work just doesn't line up.
Yep.
Where the nacelles attach onto the wings,
Yep.
there's a huge step there, like a huge one.
Right, with the Academy kit.
Oh yeah, it's an
It's a
absolute.
pig.
Yeah, it's not even that. Like it's almost like you would want to assemble this thing in the best way you possibly can, and then start taking a bloody chisel and a Dremel to the thing to reshape it into something that actually has
like my Marauder.
I can't even tell you how much of a horrible build that is. Like the amount of there's more super glue in my P38 than.
See, but you're telling the wrong person because you know what I'm like, Julian.
No.
The shittier the kit, the more determined I will to build it.
It's not a matter of brute force. The reason, like Tamiya is the only people I would trust to build specifically a P38.
Right.
There are certain subjects that can only be tackled by high engineering, and that's one of them.
Right.
Anything less, and you're just gonna end up with like a dog of a kid. Like an absolute, like something that's not, you would not be happy with.
All right. So I've got to. Where am I going to put it? I'm running out of room, Julian.
Look, you don't need to do it. You don't need to do it now. It's a Tamiya kit. You can buy it any time you want, and you've already
True.
got the decals and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Well, I've built
True.
3 rockets, 2 capsules, 3 tanks, 2 ships
Oh,
this year.
Wow.
and by the way, I should know that there are details in the Tamiya kit that the Academy kit cannot capture.
Ah. Oh, like those air scoops at the front.
No.
It's all
Like
around air scoops.
the ribbed rear window,
Oh, right.
rear canopy.
Yep.
Because it's like I think it's like
Internal ribbing.
yeah, something like that. It's like transparent, and there's like
Yep.
sort of
Yep.
before they changed it, it's like a two windows, one on each side kind of thing.
Oh, I get you. Yep.
And so that's
You're going.
how many have you built, Julian?
Me,
See,
this
I'm
year?
just sitting here just waxing lyrical about, gee, I've had a good year building, and
Oh, jeez. Like, I can't even remember like what I've built this year. What have I built this year?
You built a car.
you built a car.
Oh, the blue one.
Yeah.
That's not technically finished yet.
Oh, okay.
But that was always a test bed anyway. It was never designed to be finished.
That's fine.
I could probably chrome it and finish it in an afternoon. I just
Did
think
you, did you finish off that block?
Yeah, block.
I just need to flat coat that.
So you basically, I don't think you finished a kit this year, have you?
I can't remember like what else I've got. No, I think I did the did I can't remember if it was this year or late last year that I did the F4.
That was last year.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Well, I think our listeners' memory is probably better than yours.
No, my memory's spot on with this.
Dave's memory is as good as his grasp on the English language.
and then like I can't remember, was it before or after the F4 that I did the LVTP5 thing, the
the
Vietnam
block of cheese.
Yeah, the block of cheese. You know, the big armored,
yeah. You did that after the F4 Phantom.
yeah. Was that earlier this year or is it?
I think that was earlier
That
this year.
was this year.
Yeah, well, there you go.
You've built a kit. Well
You've
done,
got a
Julian.
kit, one kit, fantastic. Well done.
I've started a lot of kits this year. Holy crap.
He's a podcast host and he's built one kit.
Yeah. But he's got many kits on the go.
Yeah. And there's not a day goes by that I'm not sort of like looking to buy something else, to be honest.
Yeah, I
I've
know
been
that
pretty
feeling.
good actually.
I haven't.
I bought so many kits at the start of COVID, and then it's like, then I just thought I just sort of like kept them, and then I didn't buy any more because I was like, all these sales came through, and I was like, well, I've got too many kits as it is. Bloody.
Yeah, I know. I'm that bad now. I'm just storing them on the floor.
But see, your problem is that you buy kits that you don't even intend to start within the next 5 years.
Yeah, like USS Ward.
The only
Yeah.
time I
I will build it.
the only time I really buy things is if I have a feeling that they may not be in stock in the future, or they might run
Well,
out
that's
of
why I
production.
buy them.
And that's what triggers me to buy them as well.
Yeah.
Of FOMO, fear
Yeah.
of missing
Yeah,
out.
but he's
Yeah.
not like that. I gave him one resin seat for a P47. And he went off and bought a P47 kit, a Tamir kit, which you can get anywhere at any time, and we'll always be able to get into the future. Unless,
Plus those decals. Remember you got me those decals?
Yeah, and the decals. Yeah.
That's a really nice decal scheme, and it just needs to be built. I wonder if I should build that next.
If you want.
There you go.
Pacific War P47.
I challenge you to build 2 kits at once.
2 kits. I've
Yeah.
done that before.
I do it all the time. I've got about 4 or 5 on the go.
Yeah, look, I've got what do I see? I've got a Bearcat that's needs some serious TLC.
Yeah.
I've got the.
You'll have to pry that thing all the way apart.
I know, yeah, to get rid of the stupid dihedral on the wings. I've got the Junkers, was it D1 or whatever it is, the corrugated iron.
I'm surprised you haven't finished that.
Oh, I just had so much trouble with the AK metallizer paints. They just didn't work for me. I don't know if it was me doing it.
No, I've had trouble with them as well.
Whereas if I use Alclad, I don't have a drama at all.
Yeah.
Alclad and me just seem to go really
Yeah.
well. It's been sitting on there now. The Israeli Super Sherman's been sitting on the sidelines for about 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
There's a few kits there. I should.
You know what you should do for that Israeli Super Sherman? Just pry those photo etch guards off, and then just cut some new ones out of sheet styrene.
Yeah, it could be the way to go. Because it's a bad design on Dragon's behalf, that is. It's just that they're trying to put a flat surface onto a curved surface. It doesn't work. At all.
Trying. All right, guys, I think we'll wrap that up for our 100th episode. It's been a fantastic ride.
So far.
Glad you've all been here with us.
Yep.
Certainly appreciative of Ian and Julian being here and joining me on this fun ride.
Thank you. It's been great fun.
Thank you very much to our loyal listener base.
Definitely. You guys rock.
Thank you very much to our Patreon supporter base.
Yep. You guys rock even more.
Thanks to our advertisers.
They rock.
Thank you very much to our fellow podcasters.
They're good rockers.
And I think that's all the thank yous I've got.
So that's not very rocky.
So I will take this opportunity to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Which Merry Christmas would have been.
Well,
yes.
So
I'd
happy
also like to
Boxing
thank
Day.
you, Dave, for starting this podcast.
Yeah, Dave.
Oh, well, yes.
Yeah, Dave. You're the godfather of podcasting, of modelling. So yes.
I'm trying to do my. I'm trying to fill my cheeks up. So the Godfather. Yes.
Don Goldfish.
That sounds like a clown for a Don, doesn't it?
Don Goldfinch.
It has been a lot of fun though,
It's been great.
Yeah.
and thoroughly enjoyed you
Yeah,
guys being
and-
here. And it's great hopping over every fortnight to have you guys over.
Have a
and
chat.
We
and
do it.
Chatting to the guys internationally and locally.
Yep.
And we've just. I think we've made a really good community.
We have, yeah.
And the community, like if we all fall off the perch tomorrow, I'm confident the community will just keep running strong.
You know what I would like to do one day
What's that?
as part of this sort of podcast? I would like to sort of get together with some of the guys from the other podcasts in a room, like physically in person, and just put down a microphone and just talk models.
That's
you
what
know?
we're hoping to do when we get over to Vegas.
Yeah, I
next
want to
year.
do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be uber cool.
That would be so awesome.
We'll have the boys from Plastic Posse Podcast there, and we'll have Plastic Model Mojo there.
Oh, we'll see if we can pitch them against each other.
What do you mean pitching against each other? What, you mean put a 6-shooter on the table, put one round in it, and just spin it, and whoever it... Is that what you mean?
Or is it more like Mad Max Thunderdome where two men enter, one man leaves?
Nah, they're great blokes. They're
Yeah.
great. Would never do that to you guys. You guys are cool. Just having a joke.
All right, guys.
Without the listeners, we wouldn't
Yeah.
be where we are. And you guys are just the bee's knees, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
And you've got to make before we sign off. You have to make an amendment.
Yeah, dude, what was the amendment I had to make?
You gave credit to the wrong club donating the kit to the Moosaroo Cup.
Yes, I did. The Moosaroo Cup was donated by... Oh, gee, you caught me on
IPMS Hamilton, wasn't it?
IPMS Hamilton, it was indeed.
Yes.
And
How'd
I
you
said,
miss that one up?
I don't know. It's
Dave.
A Dave.
It's a Dave.
What do you expect
Dawn
to
of
say?
Dave, mate. Dawn of Dave.
Yeah, indeed.
I can't even remember like any international model clubs apart from the one I'm in, the ones that I'm in. I'm in a few.
No, Alan Muriel dropped on their Facebook page and said that I'd
Made a hash of it again.
made a hash of it again. So my apologies to Alan and to the guys from Hamilton.
Yes.
Don't you
guys
even
are
have?
great.
We all have T-shirts.
No.
No,
No, you're thinking,
no.
no, you're thinking of the Butcher Hair chapter of IPMS.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't.
And Hector Cologne.
I can't keep track of all this stuff.
Yeah, it's so hard being a rock star, isn't it, Julian?
No. It's not that. It's just a case of my inability to pay attention to things. I'm serious. Like I barely even though I'm here, I'm not here.
No, his mind's somewhere else.
Like I'm like if you just sort of sit like. To be part of the reason I want to sit down with all the other podcast guys in the room, I want to be able to put a face to a name and go, right, you're that podcast.
You're a millennial, like a hummingbird. You sort of flit from flower to flower. Never.
That's how I end up with like 4 kits on the go. That's for sure.
All right, Ian. How about a sign off from you,
Well, guys, photo itch is your friend.
Julian?
Oh, get lost. I'm over this game.
From me and from everybody here, thanks very much for listening, and we'll be back with you before you know it. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.